This is a video tutorial on how to create an ePortfolio for the Geology Department of Augustana College. All of the geology majors are required to create an ePortfolio and keep it updated, and we also encourage minors to do the same, and several of our courses will also require an ePortfolio, and you can use the same ePortfolio for all of this. We use the ePortfolio for basically two things. Number one, it's a place in which you can archive examples of your academic achievement, like your writing, your senior inquiry, links to videos of your presentations. You can have a link to your resume, anything that's related to your academic work or professional development. The second thing we use the ePortfolio for is as a platform for personal reflection. So every time you take a field trip somewhere and you learn something important, you should sit down and spend 5 minutes reflecting on what you learned. How did that experience change you? How did it shape you as a geoscientist? And how are you developing through the years at Augustana? So we'll ask you from time to time in different courses to enter in a reflection entry into your ePortfolio. So we've made it really, really easy to create an ePortfolio, and this document basically walks you through how to do it, and I'm going to do that here in the video. The first thing you probably want to do is create a folder on Google Drive that you're going to share with the geology faculty as well as Susan Wolf, and that folder will have material related to your ePortfolio. You can have material elsewhere too that you link from, but just make sure whatever you link in your ePortfolio, whatever you link to, those files are also shared with the geology faculty. You're basically creating a website here. So on your Google Drive, you want to create a new folder, and it's going to be your ePortfolio, and you should name that folder after you. So you're going to do last name, first name, and then the year of your graduation. So for instance, last name, first name, year of graduation, and then underscore ePortfolio. Now that folder will be created, and then you're going to share it with the geology faculty. The easiest way to do that is just to click on share and then choose hashtag geology group, and that will share it with all the geology faculty as well as Susan Wolf. You don't have to notify us. You can uncheck that box. That way we don't get an email notification, but we can certainly search for it and find it really easily. You do not need to make us editors either. We can be listed as viewers. We don't need editing privileges to your ePortfolio unless you want us to have that. And then you just hit share. Now everything I put in that folder is going to be shared with the geology faculty. Now we need to make a copy of the ePortfolio template, and you can just say make a copy, and we're going to move that template into that Google folder. So I made that subfolder here on my drive in this folder, but you're going to have it elsewhere. You just need to share it with us. So now I have a copy of that file, and I'm going to move it into that folder, and it should be there. So now this will be the ePortfolio for Fritjof Frixell, and I'm going to rename it as such. So again, I'm going to use the same convention. Last name, first name, year of graduation, ePortfolio. And there it is. Now everything I put in this folder is shared with the group. I can link to other documents in this folder and so forth. We also realize that you have very limited space on Google Drive, but nothing you put in here should have really lots and lots of space. You can link to files outside of this if you want, as long as the sharing is set so that we can see it. So this ePortfolio is largely basically a text document. You can have some image files in there if you want, but it's not a really big document. So now we're going to open this up, and this will be your ePortfolio. We have set this up as a template, and you can move your way through here and see how we set this up for you. The first thing you probably want to do is change the name up here in the upper left. That's not the file name, it's just the name of the page here that you're looking at. And then you're going to put update your name, your graduation name, and then biographical information. We've included other notes here. You can get rid of that after you read it if you want. So then in structural geology tectonics, your first assignment is a reflection assignment, and you can click on reflection. So we've set this up so that you'll get a menu bar across the top, and that takes you to different pages. And each page is basically a web page. And then this has information on all kinds of things that we'd really like you to be reflecting on. We'll give you prompts occasionally that you can enter in, but certainly your field trips are experiences that you can reflect upon. Now, there are different ways you can set this up. You can design your own ePortfolio however you want. You can put graphics in there, you can put images and so forth. You can personalize it as much as you like. But let's talk about some easy ways that you can enter in your reflection here. So this, of course, is your editing page. It's not what people see when you share the page with them. I'll go over that in a minute. So let's say you want to enter in a reflection, say, of the Baraboo field trip. One way you can do it, which is really, really easy, is just click on collapsible group, and then you can move this wherever you want within the page. It's going to be a collapsible group, meaning it'll have a pull-down window that opens up. So let's give that reflection a name. So this is all in the reflection subpage, right? Baraboo field trip. Then you probably want to give it a date, and that was 11/5/22 to 11/6/22, and then the class that it was, GL 240. And there's the entry, and then in the text box right beneath it, you're going to enter in your reflection. And I've given you prompts for this class, and you can write several paragraphs there if you want, and you're going to just be entering all that in. So you're going to be reflecting on what you've learned from that experience. Those of you who went on that trip. How did it change you? How did it help you understand the concepts of the class more? How did it help you develop your field techniques, and so on and so forth? And so you can write several paragraphs in there. Now, what's it going to look like? Okay, remember, this is the editing page. You can get rid of some of these boxes if you don't want them. I suggest you keep them there, at least for the time being, but then you'll have the box there for the Baraboo field trip. If you want to do another one, say if you want on the petrology field trip, you could say Southeast Missouri field trip. Whatever the dates were of that, I don't recall offhand, but you'll put in the dates. And that was Geology 360 if you went on that trip. Or say if you went on the any of the field trips with Geology 201, you can put in a different entry for each one, okay? And then your text will be beneath that. So here's what this is going to look like now after you enter in those reflections. Once you share that with us, we won't see the editing page unless you give us editing privileges, but we don't need to see that. We'll simply see this. So if you come up here to preview, this is the actual web page that's visible. So here's reflection. If you click on Southeast Missouri, it'll have that reflection entry. If you click on Baraboo, it'll have that reflection. And of course, back on your editing page, you can move the order of those around really, really easily. Similarly, your biographical information is going to be linked there, and so forth and so on. So really, really easy to make entries, to modify this. You don't have to do these pull downs if you don't want to. There are other ways that you can do this. Let's go back to our editing page. Here's the editing page. and the editing page for reflection. There are other options you can use. You can put in a table of contents and link to other files. They could simply be Google Docs files for your reflection that you're writing it out as a document file and linking it to there. Just make sure it's really easy to navigate and everything is shared with us. Videos of presentations, so your senior inquiry presentations, class presentations, you can link to videos there. We're trying to upload those videos onto YouTube, or if we shared those to you on Google Drive, you could link to that, or you may want to download it and upload it to your own YouTube channel, whatever works for you. You probably don't want video files on your Google Drive though, because they take up a lot of space. So we will send you the links to those presentations we have that we've uploaded to YouTube. You can use those, or you can make a copy of it and then put that on your own YouTube channel if you want. So that'll be videos of presentations. So that's it. That's how this works. It should be pretty straightforward. You guys will figure this out really easily just by cruising around and experimenting a little bit, and your ePortfolio will come together really, really quickly. Just make sure you share everything with the geology faculty.